Hey guys, this is Lee with Lord's Chimney again. We're here to talk about, is there something living in my chimney? But first, I'd like to go over a couple thanks for people who have shared and liked our broadcast, the last one and this one. But to people who shared, Bo, Lynn, thank you. We really appreciate it. It helps us help many, many more people. Other people who have liked it, Mauricio, Mao, thank you. Albert, my home inspector friend, Brandy, David, Jerry, we really appreciate it. And if you guys could share, it really does help. And it encourages me to keep doing this because it actually, somebody's listening. So is there something living inside my fireplace? We're starting to come into the time of year where things start to nest. Rarely does something permanently live inside of a fireplace. I have not seen that much. So does something living inside your fireplace? Generally, no. Is something nesting inside my fireplace? Is the correct question. So things that nest inside fireplaces. This time of year, we've already started to see some of it. Raccoons. Raccoons love to go down certain types of fireplaces. They love to go down. There's a little shelf right above your damper. That's the thing that opens and closes. They love to go down there, nest, have babies. How do you know if you have raccoons inside your fireplace? If anybody has an idea, please chat back in. I love to see all the creative ways that people know. I have seen that a lot of times we have cameras that we do with every inspection, that we go inside of a fireplace and we can look around. One of my common phrases to every customer is, hopefully we don't see glowing eyes looking back at us. And sometimes we do. So it is not uncommon to have mom raccoon and babies on a smoke shelf. Now, mom raccoon can get in and out to feed her babies, to go feed, to do all that kind of stuff. Babies are too small, they cannot. So it's very important, whether using us or somebody else, that if you scare mom away, there's a chance that mom doesn't come back. So always, 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 the best way to do it is to make sure we close off the front of the fireplace, close off the damper, let mom raise their young. They will leave after the babies are old enough. And then we can make sure they never come back again. And we'll get into chimney caps and stuff like that because that is the solution to that. Another thing that we see this time of year is squirrels. The problem with squirrels is they fall down and they can't get back out. Often they're injured because often they fell 15, 20 feet onto that same little smoke shelf and they're injured. So trying to catch a squirrel, through a damper, I've tried. I can't do it. They jump around, they hop around. It becomes a very exciting thing and usually does not end well because it's hard to catch them. So what we do is we drop a rope down from the top. We put a knot about every foot and we leave it overnight, 2 or 3 days. And if the squirrel is healthy enough, they will climb that rope and get out. So when we come back, they're not there. The other option is a little more grim, which is if it is too injured and it can't even climb a rope out, we come back and have to get out a dead squirrel. No one likes the animals to die. The other option, and we've done this before, is if we can't get in there, is you take apart part of the fireplace in order to have access to have them come out. So there's a bunch of options. There's a bunch of price ranges that go along with that. Another thing that's coming into our area, because we get tons and tons of them, are chimney swifts. That is the one bird that has the capability of vertical flight because when they're inside your fireplace, they have to fly straight up and straight down. And there's not many birds that can actually do that. To my knowledge, hummingbird, chimney swift. Those are the two. And they'll go in and they'll literally glue a little nest to the side of the venting system. And they'll put eggs in it and they will raise their young and then they will leave. So those birds are protected by the Migratory Bird Act. And when they're nesting, we're not allowed to touch them. So once again, we can close off the front with insulation and plywood and everything else if the smell bothers you or the sound, because they are extraordinarily noisy. Usually the hallmark of these are early in the morning and late in the afternoon, you will hear an eruption of baby birds begging mom for food. So you will hear, I've heard all kinds of, I mean, people think it's bats. It's not bats, but literally an eruption. And then once they're fed, they will kind of quiet down some. But if they are nesting inside your fireplace, we can't touch them. We can wait for them to leave. And people always ask, when are they going to leave? I mean, it could be 4 months, depending on how old, when we find the actual babies, is how fast they leave. Now, that bird does eat a ton of flying insects, which means mosquitoes. In our part of the world, anything that eats a mosquito is my friend. So we have some customers that like them. We even have swift towers in some parks and stuff like that. So it sort of emulates a chimney so that those birds can come in and nest. And they eat mosquitoes. They do all kinds of good stuff. Other things we find that are a little more rare that we find inside chimneys, we do occasionally find pets like cats. If cats get up on roofs, I found cats before. If you're on a golf course, occasionally we find ducks. When they get in, they can't get back out. It's an accidental thing. We find all kinds of stuff. But squirrels, often they nest on top of a chimney and their whole nest will fall in. So the next thing is, how do we keep them out? Because we've gone over what if they're in there, what do we do? But how do we keep them out? And the answer to that is chimney caps. A good chimney cap will have 1/2-inch openings. So once you put the cap on and it covers the whole top, like ours, we have our own fabrication shop. We make our own chimney caps out of stainless and copper, and we can do designs. But that's the thing we do to keep them from coming back. Because the only thing worse than having an animal is for us to get rid of them, and then the animal comes right back. And we've seen that before. I've seen customers where they wake up in the morning and there's little sooty paw prints across their carpet going upstairs, and they find a baby raccoon inside their bathtub. Most of the time, they won't come back into your house because they don't want anything to do with you. But especially if somebody is forgotten and doesn't do things correctly or doesn't have camera systems to check that area, sometimes if you go back far enough for me, we've been doing it for 17 years, we use mirrors. If you don't use mirrors correctly or there's something hiding in a corner, occasionally you miss one. And literally you'll see them come out into the house and up. It's unique. So proper caps, that's very, very important. If you want to prevent this from happening to you, call us out, have us inspect it. If you have water leaks, something else, that's another clue that there's something wrong at the top. And we need to come out. We need to give estimates. So it's always interesting. Animals are fun in my world, not because they're inside your fireplace, because I always tell everybody you don't want it to be too exciting, because sometimes animals are already dead. Like, another way to know, if you smell anything that's not right, it's already died inside the fireplace, and it's time to get it out, because it's not going to get better. And the cycle of that, it gets a whole lot worse, and then it slowly gets better, and it's basically nature taking its course with something that's dead. But we want to make sure we get that stuff out so you don't have to put up with that. So call us. We'd be more than happy to help you. Inspect the fireplace, double check. You can look over our shoulder. We have the camera system, so you can look at the screen as we do. We can look for critters. We can look for those glowing eyes just to make that work. Another critter that happens, and this is not this time of year, but wasps, and we just had a couple calls. Usually when we find wasps in our part of the world, it's a certain type of fireplace, which is a metal fireplace called a manufactured metal fireplace, with a metal vent that goes up. And normally, and this is very specific to our area, they are brand new clean. And in the winter, those wasps are looking for heat, and you have the heat rising from inside your house. And when you open that damper, those wasps will fall down. And usually they're very, very slow until they start to warm up, and then they start flying around. But the long-term solution to that is either shut it off altogether, which is not my first thing, or you need to use your fireplace so it smells like fire, and those wasps will not come back. So once again, anybody gets, the people who've already liked my post, thank you. People who've shared, thank you too. It is very, we're trying to help as many people as possible. So share it, let us know, like our page. And if you want me to run over a topic or interview somebody, or you want to be interviewed, please let me know. I'd be happy to take care of you. So appreciate it.